So were they eating babies and saying that baby tasted like cream cheese? I don't think so. Not putting that evil past them, but what they were doing was speaking in code. Cheese is a code for... They were getting babies to unknowingly perform oral on them. Babies have a sucking reflex, unfortunately. And sick SOBs like those that were on that island were getting those babies to put their mouths on these men. That's what they were doing. And so while it's sick to think that they were eating babies and saying that baby tastes like cream cheese, which makes absolutely no sense, that's not exactly what they were doing. What they were doing was, I would argue, just as evil. But you got to realize what they were putting in those emails were speaking in code, because they knew that there's a possibility that the wrong eyes would see what was in those emails.
The new Epstein files just dropped, and they're way darker than anyone thought. Buried inside the documents is an email allegedly sent by Jeffrey Epstein that people can't stop talking about. In the email, he compares babies to cream cheese, not metaphorically. What kind of mindset even thinks like that? It wasn't just one man. Epstein moved among billionaires, politicians, and royalty, the most powerful people on earth. And according to the files, there are references to ritual language, ancient symbols, and names like Baal, a deity historically associated with sacrifice and power. These rich and powerful billionaires are worshiping literal demons. Human life was treated like garbage, like nothing. And to be real with you, there are probably more Epstein Islands out there. This is just one they decided to let the public know about. The people running the world are more sick and twisted than we thought. As always, thank you for watching. Stay weird.
Hi guys, how you doing? Welcome back again to my channel. My name is Olivia. In case you are just seeing my face for the first time, I hope you guys are doing very good, family. So family, I've been seeing this disturbing and disgusting video online where, these Epstein files and all these Jeffrey Epstein's sins, as where, they said babies taste like cream cheese. And I was like, because I'm kind of confused. Does that mean that they eat babies? Because how on earth are you going to compare a baby to the taste of a cream cheese? Like it's so disgusting. And it baffles me that with all these things that is happening, these people are not yet held accountable of their sins. Like there's no accountability yet. It's so annoying. Okay, and then them comparing babies to the taste of a cheese. Oh god, I don't know what else to say. Okay, anyways family, let me know what you think about this disgusting video. All right, and I'll come back with more commentaries. Don't go anywhere, family. Stay with me.
The most devastating thing to me in the Epstein files is not them comparing babies to the taste of cream cheese, or saying a hot 9-year-old Brazilian, or your littlest girl was a little naughty, or the bodies that are on Zorro Ranch and that were put there by Jeffrey and Ghislaine. And it's not the fact that there will be no investigations in the United States. There's been no arrest, no inquiry. Kash Patel has said, we've done our duty, we followed the law, even though they were 2 months late following the Epstein Act. And it's not that there's not going to be any arrests, that they're going to get away with it. We don't have to wonder if this trafficking ring exists. There's already someone in jail for it. And I want us to keep in mind that it took all of this for over 1,000 women's stories to be believed in a trafficking ring we know exists. And the only person in jail for this ring is a woman. That's not even the worst part for me. The worst part of it for me is watching Christians fall at the feet of a man who was an active participant in it, and the men who aligned themselves with him. Because power apparently is their get out of jail free card. It's the same thing that happened in 2016 when Trump ran. And I remember being so deeply offended when he invoked the name of Christ, because I knew how immoral and awful he was and the things he said, especially after the grab him by the pussy comment. And I watched all these people who had raised me, people that I looked up to, people that were spiritual mentors, fall at the feet of this man. People who had told me that leadership requires moral clarity, people that had preached biblical marriage and purity, and you can't be gay, and you can't masturbate, and you can't do all these things. But then they were falling at the feet, salivating at one of the most womanizing evil men I've ever seen, building shrines to him in their household, posting pictures of him with Jesus Christ over him, pictures of him on the cross, comparing him to Cyrus of the Bible. And I realized in that moment that Christian nationalism at its core was corrupt, that Christian nationalism's God is not Jesus, it's power. And even after the release of those files, Those same people, the people I grew up with, that I went to church with, that I went to school with, people that taught me integrity and right and stand for mercy and justice and honor Christ and love your neighbor, are still worshiping at his shrine. Not enough for them. Being part of a child trafficking ring, an active participant, isn't enough for them, because it was never about Jesus. It was always about power. The same people that are worried about trans athletes in bathrooms, right? Protect our girls. Really? What about those girls? And it was the realization that if that's not enough to make you leave, you never will. And the realization that people that I looked up to growing up, people that mentored me, people that changed my life, many people that saved my life, are the same people that I wouldn't tell where Anne Frank was hiding.
They ate babies, bro. They ate babies. They ate children. Oh my God. Oh my God. I can't sleep, bro. I have not been able to sleep. You know what they said? They taste like cream cheese. Oh my God. Nah, because if you don't believe in Satan anymore, I don't know what to say. Because this is crazy. This is demonic. This isn't just like, oh, like some person. Like, this is not normal. This isn't just normal human behavior. This is demonic. This is for Satan. This is pure evil. Period. He literally had an account named Baal. Baal. That's a satanic demon. Known for what? Human sacrifice. Why? Why? Is that a coincidence? I think not. No, I really don't. This has literally been talked about in the Bible. It's been there, bro. This is just the cherry on top to all of it. In Revelation 12:9, it says Satan is the deceiver of the world. Yes. Dang straight, bro. Dang straight. Satan is the ruler of the world. We've been knowing that. All over the Bible, it talks about it. Satan literally runs this world. All the elites, you know where they get all their fame, all their power, all their money from? All of a sudden, they just have so much power. They have everlasting power that they can't get rid of. It's because they talk to the demons. They interact with the demons, bro. They do these things not just for fun. They get something out of it. They get everything they want. Satan gives them everything they want by doing these things. Why do you think they go after children? Why do you think they go after children? Because they're the closest to God. They're the most innocent. They're the most pure souls. Coincidence? I think not. All of this is saying is that it's not left versus right, bro. They're all in it, newsflash. All right? It's good versus evil. It's Jesus versus Satan. I don't know what else it is. This world is screwed up. It's screwed up, and Jesus has warned us about this. And now's the time. Now's the time to fight. Now's the time to fight with the good, with Jesus. I've never been more horrified in my life. Kind of figured this was happening just because of how screwed up the world is, but actually seeing it, I want to vomit. And now more than ever, we need God. We really do.
It seems like they also eat humans that were just born. Alex Jones is owed an apology.
So apparently nobody's understanding the babies and cream cheese reference. I don't know why, but as someone who comes from a culture where we do make our own curdled milk at home and we drink curdled milk at home, let me tell you how cream cheese is made. You take milk and you add an acid to it and it curdles and makes the milk go bad. That's how you get cream cheese. Now, the baby reference. So babies have this unique thing that they are born with, where it's a lining that coats from their mouth, their lip, their inner lip, their mouth, all the way through the digestive system to the end. They have a special lining. This lining goes away once they start eating solid food. So we see where, like, if a mother is HIV positive, even if the breast milk they're producing does have the virus, they can breastfeed their HIV negative child, or even someone else's child who's HIV negative, and the virus is not able to cross through that membrane. But they're told that once they switch to solid food, then they cannot breastfeed the child anymore, because solid food destroys that membrane, and once we become adults later on, we don't have that membrane. But children, babies are born with this membrane. And another thing about this membrane is that the way to view it is like, it's like a glove that is lining the inside that makes it almost sterile. And so you're introducing milk, they're drinking milk in a very sterile environment, and then the lactic acid in the stomach mixes with it, and so it curdles. And cream cheese, or we know as cream cheese, if you take it out, that's where the cream cheese taste is coming from, because it's curdled milk because of the acid. Now, when the person said that, they were eating poop, everyone is like, why would they? Who would? The poop itself is actually sterile because of that lining. So the disgusting aspect is not really the poop. They have, I guess, people who have studied science and know that it's sterile. Even if it's not cooked, it's still sterile. Now, we can also tell that the victim, who say that they saw children being unalive and they saw people eating digestive. Remember, they didn't say muscles. Muscles will taste different. They said digestive system. We know they're not lying about what they saw, because the email referencing cream cheese was a different email. This was an email where they were discussing taste. And this other discussion was a victim who was saying, this is what I witnessed when I was among these people. This is what they were doing to babies. So we know they're not lying, because sure enough, that it would taste like cream cheese. That's what it would taste like, because that's what it is. It's milk that is curdled in the digestive system. And the other way to view it, which is like really creepy and disturbing, it's like feeding beer to like a fish, or like to like a duck, and like as a form of pre-marination. It's like marinating it when it's still alive, so that the marination is inside of it when you finally consume it. And I know that's very disturbing. It is. The whole thing is very disturbing. But that's where the cream cheese is coming from. The taste of cream cheese, that's where it's coming from. Because yes, that is what it would taste like, would be like cream cheese, because it's curdled milk.
The only thing these Epstein files did was show you how sick these people really are. But that's nothing new. When Ryan Garcia was about to fight Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia started saying a lot of things about the elite. Nobody believed him. Everybody thought he was crazy. He told people what they do to kids. He told people where they take kids. Then they have books that give us details how these people have been eating people for years. Real life cannibals. Allegedly, this man said newborn babies taste like cream cheese. You heard what I just said? They show us in the movies. They joke about it. I want you to go back to when Amy Winehouse died. Then I want you to remember what Neil Patrick Harris did. This man had someone make him a cake to resemble Amy Winehouse how she was dead. And they ate that cake. People don't joke like that. Oh, that's not enough? What about Ellen? Ellen DeGeneres, what about her? Ellen went from looking like Ellen to looking like Ellen. Who is that? You gotta remember how many people that she was in contact with. You gotta remember around the pandemic time, 2020 time. Remember everything that came out about Ellen? What about that? Now let's talk about Nicki Minaj. And I know a lot of people don't want to talk about her right now, but she has been trying to expose this thing for a minute. Nicki just said that they eat people, that they sacrifice their family members. The writing has been on the wall for years. Now jump down the Epstein files rabbit hole. The mention of Pizzagate. The mention of what he's been doing to these people. And not just him. And go down another rabbit hole. Go down the rabbit hole of secret societies. See what they've been doing. What I'll say is this. It's nothing new under the sun. And this is for entertainment purposes only. But these people have allegedly been doing this the entire time we've been here. Pay attention.
Oh, hell no. I don't even eat cream cheese, but now I will never eat cream cheese. Supposedly, they said that newborn babies taste like cream cheese. What the fuck?
He said newborn babies taste like cream cheese. He compared babies to the taste of cream cheese. No matter how many years I research this stuff, I will never be desensitized to it, because what the fuck do you mean? I will never eat cream cheese again. Ever again. And they're not gonna get in trouble for this stuff. I'm gonna go barf.
Vernix is the cream cheese-like coating that is on our babies while they're still inside our bodies. And it is full of all kinds of things that are best absorbed by babies' bodies and their systems. So if your baby is born with Vernix all over them, simply pat it dry and allow it to rub gently into baby's system. Additionally, though, while babies are still in the uterus, you need to remember that they're floating around in water, and so the Vernix acts as a protectant. The sooner your baby is born, the more vernix they will have. But as they get closer to their due date and past their due date, which is, as you know, very common for first-time parents, the vernix will be less. You'll see it more in their folds and less all over them. But make no mistake, they've had it on them and they're protected.
They were comparing the taste of babies to cream cheese. They were comparing the taste of babies to cream cheese. And if you don't believe me, read the files for yourself and see. If you are desensitized to this, you should probably ask yourself why. Because no matter how long this goes on, how much I read about it, how many stories come out, I will never be desensitized to this shit. This shit is so evil and disgusting, and my heart aches and hurts for all the children and babies that were tormented, tortured, and killed. And if you haven't read the files, I suggest you read it so that you can know what's going on. It's sick. I mean, there really are no words. And I think because I have a normal brain and I know God, my brain is not capable of understanding something so sick. And that's why I will never be desensitized to the things that they were doing.
Right, so I wake up this morning, I'm just doing my morning doom scroll, like seeing what's happening in Minneapolis, like doing all my things, and I come across this one video, and it's like showing all the redacted e-files, I guess we're calling them now. Come across this one. Vegetable cream cheese is what they're calling the mucus around a baby when it comes out. Brother, I think they were eating babies. Eating babies. Let that sink in really quick. Eating babies. So eating babies. So
Driver says that the person in charge of the mail has complained to Sir Topham Hatt about the delay last night.
Why don't we just kill these fucking people?
Driver says that the person in charge of the mail has complained to Sir Topham Hatt about the delay last night.
Why don't we just kill these fucking people?
Replied.
Oh my god, some of you are handling the Epstein files the absolute wrong way with the wrong energy. I'm seeing people post insane stretches of conspiracy theories when there's actual real evidence of things in front of us. So what do I mean by that? There's millions and millions of pages of child SA and forcible pregnancy. This is the main part of the files. Meanwhile, most of you are taking a singular email from one of the pages or one of the FBI tips that hasn't been proven about them eating babies and saying like, oh, well, cream cheese is referencing them eating babies. Why would that be referencing something very literal, like a very literal substance, if every other food was code for something else? Pizza, ice cream, they weren't comparing something to like the cheese on the pizza. That was all code for all the essay. So picking one thing with one type of food, like, and then connecting it to eating it is so bizarre. Like, is the child essay not enough for you? Is that not enough of a crazy story for you that we can't like focus on the actual proven things that have happened versus insane conspiracy theories based off of 2 emails? And this is why people never get prosecuted, because people online like you guys are literally running with the most ridiculous things and not actually paying attention to the things that have been proven, which would be the essay, the trafficking, the forced pregnancy. There are pages upon pages of those crimes. Because now basically people are going to look at this from an outside perspective that haven't read the files like a lot of us have. I went on like an hours-long deep dive reading stuff. But if someone comes in from the outside and is like, they took one email and they're talking about cream cheese and they think it means eating babies, they're going to think you guys are insane because you sound insane.
Like, that's the main issue. Like, people are presenting it as fact. Like, I've seen videos with millions of views being like, they're eating babies, and everyone's like, I know. Like, no, there's only theories. The actual evidence we have is disgusting enough. I would also recommend anyone who is, like, very entrenched in this, that isn't able to eat or drink water or, like, live a normal life right now, genuinely, it's okay to take a break. Please don't hurt yourself. I mean that very sincerely. Please, like, reach out to a therapist, talk about it. You are absolutely allowed to be upset. Like, do not get me wrong, I'm very upset. But if this is taking too much of a toll on you, you should step back and take care of yourself. Especially if you're a victim of something similar to any of this. Like, please know that you can take a step back and you don't have to re-traumatize yourself to absolutely everything. And listen, at the end of the day, if I am wrong and they really are, like, eating people, I will take all of this back. Like, I just have not seen definitive evidence, and I think that the really, like, vast conspiracy theories are making it difficult to focus on the actual evidence of this case. That is gonna make people change and turn around and be like, wait, we need to be listening. Not the out there conspiracy theories based on one singular email.
By the way, Epstein ate babies and compared them to the taste of cream cheese. Can we just let that sink in? He ate babies and compared them to cream cheese.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. They are eating babies, comparing the taste to cream cheese and laughing about it.
The most devastating thing to me in the Epstein files is not them comparing babies to the taste of cream cheese or saying a hot 9-year-old Brazilian or your littlest girl was a little naughty or the bodies that are on Zorro Ranch and that were put there by Jeffrey and Ghislaine. And it's not the fact that there will be no investigations in the United States. There's been no arrest, no inquiry. Kash Patel has said, we've done our duty, we followed the law, even though they were 2 months late following the Epstein Act. And it's not that there's not going to be any arrests, that they're going to get away with it. We don't have to wonder if this trafficking ring exists. There's already someone in jail for it. And I want us to keep in mind that it took all of this for over 1,000 women's stories to be believed in a trafficking ring we know exists. And the only person in jail for this ring is a woman. That's not even the worst part for me. The worst part of it for me is watching Christians fall at the feet of a man who was an active participant in it and the men who aligned themselves with him. Because power apparently is their get out of jail free card. It's the same thing that happened in 2016 when Trump ran. And I remember being so deeply offended when he invoked the name of Christ because I knew how immoral and awful he was and the things he said, especially after the grab him by the pussy comment. And I watched all these people who had raised me, people that I looked up to, people that were spiritual mentors, fall at the feet of this man. People had told me that leadership requires moral clarity. People that had preached biblical marriage and purity and you can't be gay and you can't masturbate and you can't do all these things. But then they were falling at the feet, salivating at one of the most womanizing evil men I've ever seen, building shrines to him in their household, posting pictures of him with Jesus Christ over him, pictures of him on the cross, comparing him to Cyrus of the Bible. And I realized in that moment that Christian nationalism at its core was corrupt, that Christian nationalism's God is not Jesus, it's power. And even after the release of those files, those same people, the people I grew up with, that I went to church with, that I went to school with, people that taught me integrity and right and stand for mercy and justice and honor Christ and love your neighbor, are still worshiping at his shrine. Not enough for them. Being part of a child trafficking ring, an active participant, isn't enough for them because it was never about Jesus, it was always about power. The same people that are worried about trans athletes in bathrooms, right? Protect our girls. Really? What about those girls? And it was the realization that if that's not enough to make you leave, you never will. And the realization that people that I looked up to growing up, people that mentored me, people that changed my life, many people that saved my life, are the same people that I wouldn't tell where Anne Frank was hiding.
Alright guys, thanks so much for watching my video. If you find it very interesting, please make sure to like the video. Please support the channel by subscribing to the channel, okay? And I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye and stay safe.